Hello, welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I'll be your host today. Post a link here. Well, I've had both breakthroughs and setbacks today. They're trying to collect some penalties and fees on my mom for taxes that we paid during that tax year. Oh, the IRS. I was on them for almost 2 hours, mostly on hold. Got transferred at least 7 times, if not more. Hey, Tara, how are you? Let me get you out of that little bitty picture there.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Okay.
Good. You were saying?
Oh, yeah. I was on the phone with the IRS most of the afternoon. We paid the taxes for 2020, but there were some penalties and some fees that they're trying to collect on now. And she's been gone almost 2 years, so I didn't know that sending a tax bill to a living relative was a thing, but I guess they might think it is.
Wow.
I've never heard of it before.
I never have either. It seems like that would be challenging to deal with on a lot of different levels.
Yeah. But another thing, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about like how sometimes I've kind of felt like a bit of a fraud in this recovery thing, because instead of continuing with AA, I kind of turned full blown into religion,
Yeah, that was sort of your path forward in your early recovery. Yeah.
And I don't know, it just hit me different today when I was watching the Lifeboat and Tommy was talking about journaling. And so I was journaling while it was going on. And, every time he talks about journaling, and if I'll journal, within, after the thing or while he's doing it, I get a breakthrough. It seems like every single time that's happened.
Wow.
And, and I realized I knew I was trading one addiction for another, even when it was happening, and I remember people used to just always comment on, oh, you're so hungry for God, and, and all this stuff. No, I was trying to fill that God-shaped hole that, that I'd tried everything else to fill. Thank you, Shannon Smith. Appreciate that. Hey, Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hey. Oh, hey. Okay. How's my volume?
Your volume's pretty good.
Okay. Yeah.
So, that
sorry.
pretty much answers the question, am I an addict? I absolutely am an addict.
Me too. Me too.
And when I left religion, one of the first things that I wanted to do was go get a drink somewhere. When I got back to, the scene of the crime, so to speak, where I did all my drinking and drugging and all that good stuff. The Baconator himself. I journal in my car out loud to myself. I love that. Recovery is a personal journey, Archie's mom says. Doesn't matter how you get there. That's true. That's true.
Oh, if any of you are thinking about getting the latest stomach virus, don't. It's not all that great. It's actually pretty bad. I feel really let down by it. I feel like I was sold a bill of goods that just didn't live up to the way it was advertised.
Oh, man. Any idea? Yeah. This is kind of a far out question. I don't expect an answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Do you have any idea how you caught it?
I'm not completely sure, but I think it had something to do. I was giving blood, and I was doing this thing with Super Red. What they do is they draw 2 units, but then they cycle it, and to keep your volume from getting low, they cycle it in the machine, and it takes just the red blood cells out, but it gives you back everything, so your volume doesn't get low. Well, the problem was it took the blood out, then the machine stopped working. So I was really lightheaded, even for somebody from Bisbee, mind you. And I've just been really off kilter since then. So I think that may have had something to do with it. I know
Well, just
my pulse
immune
was pretty
down
high.
maybe a little bit, and kind of weak point in the immunity
I think so, but I'm on the mend.
situation.
It was one day of feeling like a gas station toilet, but yeah,
Shannon wants to know if you're feeling better.
I feel a lot better.
And also
Just
if you got tested for flu or COVID.
nah, it was stomach stuff. But yeah, just my chest hurts with just some coughing, typical stuff. But yeah, so
Well, let me call some roll here. Hello, Tara. Hi, Shannon.
Hi.
Hi, Nancy. Hello, Plant Freak.
Hi.
Hi, Shannon. Hi, Archie's mom. Hey, Krista, Melinda. God, it's good to see you guys. I look forward to this every day. Hello, Mayonnaise Entertainment. Hey, Zelda Z. Love you. Hello, Lifeboat. That's amazing. If I'm missing anybody, hello, Kevin Hawthorne. It's good to see you. I think that's everybody. And if I did miss somebody, hey, Black Cat, I apologize and hello. So I don't know if you caught any of that, Plant Freak. You know, you were there for some of those times that I kind of agonized over, am I really an alcoholic? Am I really an addict?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, today while journaling, you know, it seems like every time Tommy talks about journaling, and I'm sitting there journaling along with the whole thing, or if I do it within after it broadcasts or whatever, I get a breakthrough. It's been like without fail that's happened every time he's talked about journaling, and I've been able to catch it live.
Oh, that's amazing.
So
Yeah.
So what was the breakthrough today?
Well, the breakthrough is that, you know, I don't have to it's not really that big of a mystery as to whether or not I'm an addict. You know, I did 7 months of AA, and then I went headlong into, you know, a really extreme kind of religious thing. And, you know, and as I was just remembering how all about it I was, every waking moment was about that, you know, and I was just so convinced that that was going to help me get sane, because before that I had kind of been managing mental illness with drugs and alcohol. And, you know, I mean, over time, I guess it did, because, you know, I put a lot of thought and effort into wanting that and praying for that and believing for that and thinking for that, because I was so scared of medication at the time. And I eventually became employable, which was amazing, you know. And but I just continued with it. I mean, everyone I talked about that, you know. And so and I knew even then that it was trading one addiction for another, but there was just something about going back into that space, you know. And people would comment, oh, you're so hungry for God, and and all this stuff, you know. And I was desperate. I needed something to help me, because what I was doing was not working, you know. And so, I mean, everything about it, you know, you can trade one addiction for a good addiction, you know. And at the time, I really believed it was a good addiction, and it was until it wasn't, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just saw it in a different way this time, and I don't think that after today, there's really not much in the way of anything left to question. I'm an addict.
Yeah.
If I were to go back to it, it would not be a good thing. I've always known that, because I barely lived through the first go round, you know. You know, it's just that whole dang thing of not relapsing, not chancing it, because I realized how close to death's door I had gotten. And so that leaves room for those nagging questions,
Yeah. It leaves room for the nagging questions, and you're in a different space this time. You're in a different headspace this time, coming around, readdressing it. And I feel like when we readdress things in the different headspace, we end up learning a little bit more about ourselves, or accepting a little bit more about ourselves. Something that we weren't quite ready to accept before.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that was it, that I wasn't ready to accept it. That could have been a lot of what was at play there. You're not ready until you're ready.
Exactly.
And I just feel like, how the journey might sometimes go. Sometimes it feels like I did a lot of things bass-ackward.
I like how you said that. Oh. I don't even think that it was. I think it was just the way that you needed it to be. That's all.
Right.
Everybody's going to go about it the way that they need it to be. And it might seem backwards to you now, but it was successful. And that's what matters.
I'm reminded, Carol, of the conversation that you had here, the topic a couple of days ago. It was on faith and what to do if you've lost faith. And when listening to you speak, it sounds like you have faith that if you stay sober, everything's going to be okay. And I was like, oh, she has faith. You have faith. I noticed that everything's going to be okay if you stay on this course. And so I just wanted to point that out.
That makes me emotional for some reason. Wow. Look at that. I'm going to journal about that.
Awesome.
I think that's a good idea.
It seems like you have something there,
You have something there. I just noticed it.
Yeah.
Ooh. One of the things that I kind of was wondering about for a topic is, when you're trying to manage, how many of us are in an addiction because of a mental illness or a traumatic event that we're not able to get ourselves out of? And, and where do you go with that in recovery? Hey, Heather. I don't know. I just thought that might be a good topic to ponder.
Yeah. There's so many answers. Sorry, go ahead.
I just know for sure that that's exactly what I was doing. It was, my mental illness was whipping my ASS, and I was just drowning, just in drinking and using anything I could get my hands on just to try to keep up. And it wasn't working, Yeah. And I wonder if I would have been an addict without the mental illness,
I wonder the same thing about myself.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. If add in, I don't want to talk poorly about my family. I love them. I just mean, like, had I had a more stable childhood, my dad went to prison when I was 4, I think.
Wow.
It's kind of fuzzy. He might've been 10 when he actually went to jail, but he was doing bad things starting when I was like 3 or 4. And I wonder sometimes, and my mom was depressed. So I wonder sometimes if I would have had a more stable childhood. We moved around a lot. If I wouldn't have had the depression, it was undiagnosed until just a few years ago. And so I was self-medicating for many years. And I do wonder if you take the mental illness out of the equation, would I have even been driven to drink like I did, like a fish, like the fish that I am, and drug? You know, it's hard to know. It's hard.
Yeah.
Well, I think people probably do, even if they come from good, healthy environments. But I think the compulsion to continue doing it to the point where it's detrimental to your life or to one's life, I think that's where the mental illness comes in.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's more, I recognize my addiction more as dealing with trauma.
Yeah.
And it was the good feelings that I was getting. And that good feeling felt better than actually processing the trauma. So self-medicating through the process, but not really processing. That's something that I realized once I got clean the first time, is I didn't really process. I had to redo everything, absolutely everything I had done.
Yeah, the self-medication piece of it, I think, is huge. I feel like so many of us have at least that in common. I mean, our mental illnesses or challenges or conditions, however you want to coin that, are different, but we're all trying to achieve something similar regardless of the drug of choice.
Yeah.
Just trying to feel
Something
better.
to make us feel better or normal or
Yeah.
whatever it is we're seeking to feel, whatever
Right.
normal is. You know, I was really, really hungry for some stability, and it just, looking back on it now, how did I think that life that I was living was going to get me there? Just,
Well, happiness seems to come along with stability. And if you're not feeling happy and you're trying to medicate to be happy, I can relate with that.
yeah.
Because I medicated to feel happy, to feel normal. And then with normal comes stability, right?
Right.
Well, not in that process, sadly.
Right.
Not in that process, sadly. But
Well, not when the drugs wear off, anyways.
Right.
no. Well, there were some hurting days, I can tell you that much.
Indeed. Archie's mom. I can
Especially
always
this
remember.
go
Last
ahead.
what? No, go ahead.
This last go around, because I was clean for 15 years and then I used for about 4 or 5 years. And then now I'm clean again. So the last go around, I didn't use daily other than marijuana. And that was like the last 2 or 3 years was daily with marijuana. But I would binge on hard drugs and I would binge on alcohol. So there would be, this was the first Christmas that passed that I had been sober in a really, really long time. Like even like absolutely nothing in my system. And the previous Christmas, I had a hangover for 2 days. Like it was bad. It was really, really bad. Or when I was binging on hard drugs, it would be like immediate withdrawals the next day.
Yeah.
That's how much I was using in a night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Archie's mom, I can always remember feeling like I was on the outside of everything and always had an unknown fear of something, even as a child. I can relate to that, Archie's mom, very much so. Mayonnaise Entertainment, I'm the odd one for wanting to stay sober. Yeah, you've shared with that you're the only one in your family that's dared to do it, you know? Yeah.
I'm not too sure, like, you know, if I reframe that a little bit, maybe you're just the smart one. Maybe you are the one trying to break the cycles, you know? It's not being odd. Let's reframe that positively. Because being sober is positive, as hard as it is. It's not an easy path. And you know what? I didn't expect to want to smoke a joint last Friday.
Oh.
I was struggling.
When you were traveling?
No, I traveled on Saturday. It was after my big event that I had to take care of on Friday, and it was better news than I expected. And I've dealt with the sober and being angry or upset, but I hadn't yet dealt with the sober and happy yet. Not this go around.
Oh.
And so it was the first time I was dealing with sober and happy.
Hmm.
And
Huh.
that was a struggle. It was a big struggle. Saturday, I was fine, completely fine. Traveling, like it's almost like I needed to sleep it off and then bring on the excitement for something else. But as soon as I left the building, it was like I could smoke the biggest joint right now. It's like that's how I used it though too. It's like it was a celebration. It was to deal with emotion. It was every possible aspect of my life that was emotional, I would resort to something.
Yeah.
And it was the first time for the happy.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah.
You had a long period of sobriety. I didn't realize you had that long of sober time. What caused you to change paths and go back?
You're breaking up a little bit, Tara. You're breaking up a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Or maybe it's me.
It might be. I can hear her.
It might be me.
Yeah, you froze up a little bit.
Okay.
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 In my last situation, my partner was trying to find ways for us to connect a little bit better. And I was very open and honest about substances that I had used previously. They had brought that substance back, but that substance, which was MDMA, I screwed my stomach up so badly with MDMA. Like the first time using again after 15 years was okay. The second time was okay, but then I started puking. The third time I puked the whole time. The fourth time I can't do this anymore is what I had said. And then it was like, well, here's a different option. And here's a different option. And then I got, I would say about 10 different substances that I had never tried, because in that before that 15 years sober, it was alcohol, marijuana, and MDMA. That was all I had ever tried. This time around, there was so many other substances that came in, and I was mixing so many substances. I'm shocked that I didn't overdose. I'm going to be honest.
Okay. I wonder if the puking was a way of your body dealing with it so you didn't.
Yeah. And I think it was like towards the end of it, I really didn't want to be using. I didn't.
Yeah.
And I would have the worst highs because inside my head, it'd be like, I didn't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then I would get beyond anxious and beyond upset at myself. And then to try and switch my mindset, I would either move on to the next substance or take more of whatever substance I had just taken. So the last time that I used triple the amount that I normally did. Because that's how badly I didn't want to be using. And that's how badly I didn't want to be in that situation. But as we were saying, you're taking things to not feel, you're taking things to forget. And the next day I was shivering and cold, and like there was no ability to function properly that day. Not at all. And like this time, like the 4 or 5 year stretch, it was not a daily thing minus marijuana, which was like the last part of it, like the last 3 years. But the binging was a problem.
Okay.
It was a massive problem.
Yeah.
Because then I'd be like, oh, look, I get to, at the beginning, it's like, oh, look, I get to have a fun night. And then if somebody's like, oh, you want to try this? Do you want to have this? Do you want to have this? Yeah, sure. I'm not the person who's able to say no, not easily anyways. And this time around has taught me that I need to focus on my ability to say no.
Yeah.
I need to properly work on that because it was easy enough the first time. My first ex was on board with me getting sober. I got sober. The situation changed a little bit with my second ex where They had felt as if they needed to bring something in to help reconnect. And I would say within a year of using again, I had told a friend, I'm feeling resentful that drugs are back in my life. I was not able to know who the drug dealers were, because if I knew who they were, I would go and get it on my own. I would figure out a way.
Mm-hmm.
So I made sure I didn't know. Sadly, that person, being one of my best friends at the time, was the drug dealer. So
Wow.
she took that personally.
Oh.
Even though I didn't know that she was supplying it, she thought I was saying I was resentful to her.
Oh.
Because she was supplying them. She didn't know I didn't know.
Krista Melinda says it sounds like your serotonin got depleted.
Oh, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Very, very possible. The whole scientific part behind it.
Do really do a number on serotonin.
Yeah. Yeah. And it took a long time to feel normal this time. The first time getting sober, it only took a couple of months. This time, it was the 6-month mark, and I really started feeling normal. And that's only been about a month now. So normal has only been about a month. I'm at 6 months for marijuana, and I'm at 7 months for hard drugs and alcohol.
Woohoo!
Dang, time is going by
That's
fast, I
amazing.
feel like. It is amazing.
Amazing.
Like I'm,
Yes,
you know, it's the beginning of the month, so I got like this next week is like 3 different dates all in a row, because it was 3 different dates that I had quit, but all very, very close together.
Right.
Very, very close together. Yeah. But the happy feeling that I had Friday and not understanding why I wanted to use, like it took journaling. It honestly took journaling. Why do I want to use right now? And I understood. So by the time that I went to Ontario, it was like I had worked it through my system, which I was really grateful for. Not that the person that I went to go see would be like, hey, smoke with me, but they do smoke pot. So it's just like, I didn't want the temptation. I didn't want to deal with that. I needed to process some of that. And by the time that I got there, it was done. It was over with. I even explained to them, I had a hard time yesterday. Well, I saw them a couple of days later. Like I had a hard time on Friday, and I'm just saying that if you're going to smoke, I'm going to disappear. Especially if I'm getting any of that feeling that I'm like, oh, I'm missing out on something. Like the FOMO, the fear of missing out, right?
Yeah.
So if I start getting FOMO, I'm just going to, jet the other direction. And when you're done, come find me. So, but it did not come up. It did not come up at all. He's fairly respectful about it. Like if I'm in the vicinity, he will wait until I'm out of the vicinity to smoke.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That shows some respect there.
Yeah. And they're aware that they have some sort of substance abuse issue, but they're self-medicated. And they're aware of that. They're just not ready yet. The window has opened, I'm sure, a few times, but nobody's been on the other side to help them out yet. Yeah. Not the proper help anyways.
Right. And he's going to have to he's going to have to want to reach for it,
yeah.
for there to be any good in it being there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, marijuana in Canada is legal.
Yeah.
It's not a substance that he's going to get in trouble over.
Yeah.
And currently, I do believe that in a way it's helping him stay at a baseline. There's a lot going on, but it's helping him stay at a baseline because he's not feeling.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I don't know if he understands that. And it's not something I'm going to explain to him either. That's something that he'll have to figure out.
Yeah.
But I'm there if ever that window opens. I have more space now to be able to say, here, reach. I can help. Especially Friday opened up so much internal space. It's unbelievable. And maybe that's, now that I'm talking it through a little bit too, maybe that was a part of why I wanted to use, is that so much
Makes
space
sense.
had opened up, and there was a huge relief that it was like I could take an extra step to relax a little bit. I know that this would help me relax that extra little bit instead of enjoying. I'm the addict, right? I want the extra relaxation. I want the more, because that's the mindset.
Yeah.
Instead of just enjoying what I had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Look at
Very
that.
insightful.
Very insightful. That's
And like,
relevant.
I honestly it just hit me. I didn't really think about it, even through journaling. I didn't really think about it. It's a pattern in my life. I always want more.
Yeah.
And every time I'm stuck in that pattern, I'm using, or I'm thinking about using.
Right. Yeah.
I think there's some level of human nature to always want more, you know, but
Yeah.
then it's like, well, maybe that's just because that's the way I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And no, and I think it is human nature. Like FOMO, wanting more, you know, the fear of missing out, the wanting more.
Yeah.
I do think that it is human nature, but my question has always been, is it primal human nature, or is this something that we've been socialized to think now? Because I do feel, and I don't mean to get all, you know, not really conspiracy theory, but I feel like capitalism has placed a lot of things within our society, and that needing more isn't just about finances anymore. It's about everything, because the mindset has been around for so long.
Yeah.
That at this point it's seeped into every avenue.
And even into the DNA, because it's generations into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe a lot of that kind of stuff imprints on the DNA. I don't have any science to back that up. Speaking of science, Heather, I was curious about that neurotransmitters, how you got your neurotransmitters tested. I'd be interested in knowing more about that, because I feel like I'm kind of in a spot where that could be helpful to me.
Yeah.
Are you talking about genetic testing, or are you talking about brain activity?
I don't know.
Because I think, go ahead.
No, I was curious. I guess that's what helped Heather arrive at the medications that she needed to be, you know, where she needed to be health-wise.
Okay, I think I saw that conversation on the lifeboat last night, and I also had that test. It's the one I had. Maybe there are different tests, but I had a similar one, if nothing else, and it's called GeneSight. My nurse practitioner just gave me a cheek swab. She sent it into a lab, and then they sent her back a huge report that has all the different medications, all different types of medications. And we found out that I have the MTHRFR gene. They call it the, you know what?
MFR.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
I
have that.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I have it. So
wow.
actually that helped me understand my body quite a bit more, and she prescribed some methylated B vitamins for me, because
okay.
It's like, what? My body hasn't been getting vitamin B my whole life. Are you serious?
Wow. So yeah, hers was a saliva test for brain, and it was for brain activity. Okay.
For brain activity. Interesting. So maybe that's something different.
Maybe so.
I'm interested for the testing, like you had, like both of them, what Heather had gotten done, what you had gotten done, Tara, because it's not something that I really thought about. Was, you know, we're lacking vitamins, and our body is just not able to absorb those vitamins. Supplementing obviously is something that I would take on. Oh, am I freezing?
You were a little bit, but I think you're back.
I think you're back. She said it was a saliva test that she did that took 5 hours.
Wow.
5 hours to get all the results back, or the whole testing process was 5 hours, or both? I think I'm frozen.
Nope, I see you.
Okay.
I was just anxiously awaiting Heather's response because I'm interested. Every hour she had to swab.
Okay. Interesting.
Wow, yeah, I've never heard of that before.
I
That's
haven't
interesting.
either.
Did your insurance cover that, Heather, or did you have to pay out of pocket for that?
Swab. Becca Jean, it's good to see you. Enjoy that time with that kiddo.
Yeah, definitely.
Plant Freak Passport. It's this concept of wanting more rings true. This is Janet G. Plant Freak Pies for Steve. And this concept of wanting more rings true for my drinking issue. That is how I thought of it. Now I'm looking at other areas of life where I want more, possessions, etc. Yeah, you know, today I had a major shopping craving.
Ooh.
I did.
Oh my goodness. And how did you work through it?
I just didn't go to the computer.
That is one way to do it.
Get your hands away from the keyboard. Step away from the keyboard.
That's hard work. Hard work, not going to the computer.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I'm not joking.
Well, I mean, I did have a little bit of a distraction with being on the phone with the IRS, so that helped. But
Oh, word. Oh,
yeah,
word.
yeah. I was just thinking of this cute little ad that I saw for these cute little jumpers in Temu.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And of course, it's sites like that get you. It's like, look how cheap it is.
oh, they know.
And then
They
you're
know
like,
they know what to toss at you. Oh, look
Yeah.
at this cute thing. They know what you like. If you shopped with them once or twice, they got you.
I've heard mixed things about how do you say it? Temu?
Yeah. I used to say Temu, but when I saw the commercials for it, it's Temu.
oh,
So-
see, I called it Timu.
Yeah, I did too.
Temu. What is it? Did you get good stuff or was it junk?
Really good stuff. That's why I kept going back.
Yeah.
I mean, like rock bottom prices, but everything that, with very, very few exceptions, everything that I got was good stuff. And as it was advertised to be, and,
Yeah.
yeah.
I've heard
Yeah, no,
things.
it's what their premise, their concept is that you get it directly from China, and instead of the middleman, i.e. the buyer and the retailer, and then you, the consumer. Yeah, all of that stuff in the middle is, you're basically getting the stuff for what the middleman, for what the buyer would have gotten it for to sell it to the retailer.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And
But
I haven't
it's
personally ordered
dangerous.
from them
It is
yet.
dangerous.
I
What?
bet.
I was about to say that because I have not personally ordered from them yet, but a friend of mine had a whole entire apartment basically to furnish and decorate, and it's become a bit of an addiction. Like every month she's like, I've got this little much extra and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna grab this and 4 other things because it's so freaking cheap.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Well, I mean,
Like,
if all your bills are paid and all that, no problem. I just,
she's also in a
I let
situation
it
where
get away from me. I let it get away from me. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, I
I
was doing other stuff too. I was paying taxes and property taxes and insurance and, all these things that we have to stay here on this property,
Mm-hmm.
But you know, then I'd be like, well, I deserve a little something too, you know, for getting all that stuff done. But it got out of hand. It did.
Yeah. And it's
Another
so
thing
easy
I don't have
when
to
it's that,
have a wonder, am I an addict? Duh.
yeah. But you know, in the situation, you can't see it. You just see that you're trying to find that happy feeling somewhere, right?
Oh man,
That dopamine drop from something.
I got that such a dopamine hit.
Love those
You get-
dopamine hits.
You know, you get the dopamine hit finding the thing, and then, you know, deciding which things out of your 200 things in your cart you're going to get this time. And
Yep. Yeah, and then you half the time forget what you had ordered because you had ordered so many things, so that when you get the package, you're like, oh look, I did order that thing.
Yeah. Oh man, getting that
Ben,
package.
you're on mute.
I've said something very pleasant there. Are they bad for doing sales to create scarcity where it says act now within the next hour, or is that another?
Yes.
No, well, I mean, it's one of those things where they'll just tell you if you've got something that you looked at that you kind of maybe lingered on, or maybe even put in your cart, it'll say 5 more left, 3 more left. Yeah.
And then what I get from Temu right now is the deal breaks in 48 hours, and then I get to see that 48-hour countdown on my phone.
Oh,
so every so often I just uninstall the app.
So that must, I was going to say that must be the app, because I refuse to download the app. I would not do that.
Okay. I didn't know that you could do the site. I didn't know that there was a site option.
Yep.
I didn't know there was an app.
Don't put it on your phone, or else all of your notifications will be Temu.
I wasn't exactly sure what Temu even was. I thought it was like emo or emu or emo, emotional music or whatever. I should say it's Temu. You are correct. I say
Temu.
It's Temu. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Nope. Okay, it's Temu.
Yeah, no, it was Temu for me for a long, long time, and then I saw commercials. Temu, shop like a billionaire. Temu.
Oh my God! Did they really say that on the commercial?
Something like that. Shop like a billionaire. Temu.
Oh my word!
Designed to get stuck in your head.
Yes.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. Oh, they know all the tricks. That's why it's so dangerous. Don't start. Don't start.
I had an issue with I called it Shein at first, but it's pronounced Shein, the clothing one. I had an issue with the Shein one for about a year or so. It was ridiculously cheap, and I was just like, look, those yoga pants I can find at the store for like quadruple the price. I'm just going to order them from Shein. And then I saw a bunch of documentaries on it, and I was like, and I have a problem.
Hey, Shell.
It's called a dangerous site.
Yes, just
That's
call it
so
that.
funny.
And yeah, let's call her a day after calling it dangerous site. Yeah, agreed. Woo! I didn't even have the liquid courage. I just had the dopamine hit of the. I love to shop. I love a bargain. Oh my God.
Me too. I'm a sucker for a bargain.
I mean, I love to shop at thrift stores, you know, flea markets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like doing the thrift stores, the secondhand stores. There's actually one here that I had just recently gone to, and only a quarter of it was clothing, and the rest of it was furniture. Yeah. So I'm kind of keeping that in mind for when I get the apartment and go back, because I did kind of scour a little bit through the furniture, and I know it's going to probably be different stuff when I go. But like a whole entire dining room set for under $100. Like I can't help myself.
Yeah. So I think my husband would have been proud of me today. Just back away from the keyboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because
You just feel like I had the shopping urge.
I've still got a few little sneaky things that I think about every once in a while that I could pull.
Yeah.
I still have a few little bitty resources left.
You want to cue us in? Now I'm so curious.
Well, just like I have so much on PayPal credit, and
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah.
That kind
Yeah.
of thing. Yeah.
Like, but I could spend this from here and it really wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Janet G. I just tried to pull Temu up and McAfee called it a dangerous site. And that's brilliant. That's amazing. Boy, McAfee is really looking out for you more than just your cybersecurity. Woo!
Well, actually, now that McAfee has said that, I'm curious. Somebody that I know, their kid's bank account had a bit of an issue, and I'm sure that they're like that generation where they use Temu on everything. It's like, I wonder, is that where you used your card that you probably shouldn't have?
Heather, you're so lucky that you got this figured out before menopause, because when menopause hit me so hard with all of that stuff, and I've kind of had to feel my way through finding what works. And that is very good that you got to that before menopause hit you, because whatever's going on in that way hits so much harder after menopause. So much harder. Okay, Black Cat. Look at you with your Russian.
Love and peace. Have a nice evening.
Okay.
At least that's what Google Translate says. Now, who knows if that's
smart.
right?
I didn't think about Google Translate. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. And if it's not, it's because it's slightly off. It wouldn't be Russian. It would be Belarusian, which would be a different language, but derived from Russian. The same with Latvian. A lot of words are the same in Latvian as they would be in Russian, but it was once the Soviet Union separated, collapsed, it was different dialects at that point. I guess that's a good way to explain it. It'd be different dialects, kind of like Chinese has all of their different dialects. There's different dialects of Russian, but they're not all called Russian like it is with Chinese. They're all Chinese with like Mandarin, Mandarin Chinese, but this is like Belarusian, Latvian, instead of including the Russian name with it.
Okay. Yes, kind of the same, different dialect.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Black Cat and I keep connecting over from where he grew up, and I had visited Belarus. I did Belarus and Latvia at the same time, and it's fun kind of being able to like discuss with somebody, be like, yes, I remember this now.
I always like seeing narcoleptic Chihuahua productions. That one always catches my eye.
So
narcoleptic Chihuahua productions.
Sorry to flood the channel with Russian. No problem, Black Cat. That's kind of cool, actually.
It is fun to see, isn't it?
I think the writing in Russian is very pretty. I like the lettering and all that. It's a pretty language to hear, even though it's a little bit, rough and abrupt the way it comes out. It's still a pretty language, I feel like.
Yeah. It sounds, you're right. It sounds very rough.
Nice to meet you. Okay.
Hello, Narcoleptic Chihuahua Productions.
I was trying to understand. I'm like, I didn't see it in the chat. I had to open up the lifeboat window. I understand now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess for the restream here, hopefully all of them are coming into the restream, because it does pair the comments. I'm hoping all of the lifeboat comments are coming in. I may have I may have been missing some here, there, and along the way, but
It doesn't really look like you have. I don't think so. But that is one thing that I really like about Restream is that it's pairing them all. And now when you add in an extra channel, when it was you, Carol, Christy, and Spanx on the same stream. And that got confusing. That was 3 different windows and trying to figure out where the comment came from and to respond in the proper window.
Mhm.
Oh, because if I respond on Christy's Restream, it comes up as Christy. And I'm just like, that gets confusing. So I don't, I'm trying to find the right window. I'm trying to make sure I'm answering the right people.
That's a lot.
I'm betting the last thing that Black Cat typed, I'm betting there's a place where there's a different in dialect, because at least what I get on Google is I'd like to have lunch in the dining room. I'm betting that's probably not what he meant.
Narcoleptic Chihuahua Production says daughter is going to Finland, Latvia, and Estonia for 3 weeks on Sunday to sing opera.
Oh my God, that is amazing.
Amazing. Wow.
And Narcoleptic, do you know where in Latvia she's going? Because there's a couple of cities that I would definitely suggest if she has time.
Cyrillic. Tony B. Something's called Cyrillic, if I pronounce that right.
That'd be a good album name.
Yeah.
I cannot stop. This is kind of a tangent. I cannot stop thinking about the sweetest deal I just got ever since we were talking about bargains and sales. You want to hear? Can I tell you about the sweetest
deal?
Deal?
Yes, please. I'll take the dopamine hit secondhand.
I don't think the sale is still going on, but CVS. I don't know if y'all have CVS's where you're all at. It's like a drugstore, like not convenience store, but like a drugstore. They were having for fish oil, the kind that I use. I like the capsules because the fish oil doesn't go rancid in capsules, and they have this non-GMO fish oil at CVS, and they were selling it buy one get one for a penny.
Oh my God!
And I had a coupon for $6 off of 30. And so I bought 2 hydrogen peroxide bottles, just the small ones. I spent just a little over, it was like not even $31. It was just a little over $30. I got 2 bottles of fish oil, 2 bottles of hydrogen peroxide for $25.
Nice.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It's going to last a long time too. I was just like busting at the seams holding that in because I didn't want to derail the conversation. So thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, love it. She's part of a tour. She graduates with her degree in classical voice tomorrow. So she'll be sober and a part of it with my wife and all 3 of our daughters. That is fabulous. Fabulous.
That's amazing.
That is worth a tiara. Around here, when we celebrate sobriety, or whether that be from an activity that we're addicted to, or whether that's a substance, this was my mama's tiara for her 95th birthday, her very last birthday, and when we celebrated her, we did a tiered cake that said 95 years Regal on it, and we all wore tiaras, including Steve, and he looked amazing.
Steve would look amazing.
Yeah, he looked amazing in his tiara.
I gotta take this, guys.
Okay. So we celebrate good news, like we're sober for however long, or we're just sober. If anybody is celebrating sobriety, I'm getting the mama's tiara out. So here's mama's tiara to you. That's so great. Yeah, that's 9 months. Woohoo! 9 months. That's huge. That is huge.
That is a big deal.
It is.
I don't know why they don't celebrate 9 months in AA.
Well, we celebrate it anytime somebody's celebrating a milestone of any kind. We're going to celebrate it here, by golly.
I want to celebrate something. I want to see how many days I've been sober. I'm going to look it up. If I can find my app.
And I hold this up simply because it's the only thing I have close by. So I use it like an award. I could make up a good story about it, like how Tara Smiling, who invented the P&P transistor, personally farmed this out in the jungles of Peru. I could say something like that, but I won't.
Oh, he says they do. There's a coin.
You blew my cover, Ben.
Narcoleptic Chihuahua Production says they do celebrate 9 months. There's a coin.
There is a coin.
those
There's a
coins.
coin for every month. Someone gave me it's like a sheet, but it's plastic. See-through, like what you put baseball cards in, and it's got a slot for every single coin. And they gave me this sheet with all like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5. Like there's coins for everything, but they only celebrate like 6 months and 12 months really in the group. I feel like all the other months, like when I was like, I have 5 months, they were like, and talk to us in a month, you know.
Aw, that sucks. I'm sorry, but it does.
Yeah.
I mean, because that 5 months was hard. It was hard.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Well, I can't seem to find my app. Maybe I deleted it. The days since.
It's interesting.
Oh no, I found it. Say it again.
It's interesting to see how some groups about like let's not celebrate. Like Tara, come back to us in a month. 5 months, it's a month, so why not? You get a coin, so it's not hurting anything. But oh well.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Wow, I've been sober for 1,126 days.
Woohoo!
Thank you.
I need a different award.
That.
Tabasco sauce, no. Dog. The dog.
I guess we lost Plant Freak.
Yeah.
Technical issues. Tara Smiling, congrats. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's
It
a
is
lot
fun
of
to
days.
celebrate. It's fun to celebrate the little, it's like there's no milestone happening. The milestone was the 3-year mark, but
well, I mean, and it still is. It's still a milestone. You're still
a lot of days.
You have 3 years behind you. You have 3 years in your belt. And that's amazing.
That's a lot of reprogramming.
Yes, it is.
That's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears is what it is.
Yes, it is. Yeah, for real. There she is.
Oh, no, she just disappeared. She's teasing you now.
She
Proud of
playing
you.
peekaboo?
Every day an achievement. Archie's mom. Yeah. Every day an achievement. 100%. Don't doubt that for a minute. Day by day is hard for me. Mayonnaise. Yeah, we've been on a few of those days with you, and it is hard. Day by day is hard for me. Every day anyone can stay sober is a huge win, and you're winning. You're winning, Mayonnaise Entertainment, and I'm so happy you're here, and I'm so happy you're winning for real.
Oh! Now is she going to duck out on you again, or who knows? I like to think that she's the kind of person to leave a bag of flaming dog poo on your doorstep, knock it, and run away.
Oh, dang. I didn't know that about you, Stasia.
Well, what can I say? People get their own little I'm not going to say Hobbit. I'm going to say get an angry Harfoot moment. If anybody knows Lord of the Rings.
We got another 1,000-day anniversary here, Janet G.
Fantastic. Oh, that's amazing.
That is amazing. Oh my God, that's so great.
What is this anyway?
I love seeing the dates and
Fabulous. I do
yes,
too.
it is so good. My goodness. Here we go.
What is
Everything's
this?
back up and running. I've been waiting for a call all day, and of course they call during meeting.
No worries. Find something similar with people so I can feel like friends. Well, you are friends. You're among friends here, Black Cat. 100%. You don't have to have a drinking or a drug problem to be here. Everybody's got something they're trying to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, like color palettes.
We're still having an issue.
Oh my goodness.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh.
We don't have to go there. I'm joking.
Well, no, no. You raised this. How far have you gotten?
I found a solution that I kind of like, but I don't love. I don't think it's the one, but I think it's closer. That's the short answer.
I want to read these off. Janet G. Plant Freak, I really want to thank you for framing the more issue. It's like an epiphany for me. And Archie's mom, we are all winners. We all winners. So many people can't get out of the lifestyle or don't get the chance. And sadly, so true.
Mm-hmm.
So true. I would like to quit my games. Oh, okay. As I have spent way too much money on them.
Yeah. But it's
That's
only $1.99 for this, and then how many games are you playing, and how many times have you done it? And then you lose track, and you're like, oh, wait a second, that was like $100 last month.
Yeah. All my friends from the past are either using currently or are passed away. I have a lot of friends in my past that are no longer with us. Breaks my heart every time I think about them. And I do think about them, you know. Some of them have been gone for decades and it still tears me up, you know. The girl that I went to go visit in California, I ended up staying in San Diego and she ended up coming back to Arkansas. I lived and she did not.
Mm.
She was a young mom with a young baby girl. Yeah.
I had a foster brother. I didn't live with him. My foster parents had him in the house a few years before I came. And then he was 18. He had to find his own place. He had to find a job, all those things.
Yeah.
He had severe addiction issues. He was finally, I would have to say it was his, if I'm not mistaken, his 4th stint in one of the biggest penitentiaries in Ontario. And he was finally actually getting clean. And then he got stabbed and we lost him.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
I was so happy that he was getting clean, and he just found out that his girlfriend was pregnant. It was a lot. I hadn't thought about him until right now in a really long time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's tragic.
But, you know, it's the truth. So many of us get the opportunity, not many of us get the opportunity, and we just got to make the best of it and help us, in my opinion, and I'm not saying everybody should, because some people just don't have the space, and that's okay. Help as many as we can get out of it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. For real. Yeah, being a slave to a substance or a behavior, an addictive behavior, is no way to live. With it
No.
whipping you and the taskmaster, and it's terrible. You don't think about it that way when you're in it. You just have to live from fix to fix.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's hard to even see that there's a problem until it's just completely out of control.
Out of
I just,
control.
what's the name for that? Is it cognitive dissonance? Is that what that's called?
I don't know. That has to do with more of
That's where
you're in one reality, but actual reality is saying something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
It's what would be a name for that? I feel like there is one, but I can't call it to mind.
Yeah.
words is hard.
Words is
Yeah.
hard. There's so many of them.
But I can
You don't have
remember
to
words
spell 'em
like
all.
words like propofol that was used in MK Ultra. I can remember that.
Yeah. Yeah. But some of my friends are just like blah words. just blah.
You know what? That's a real thing, Archie's mom. I carry so much guilt that I'm still here after all the stupid things I've done and all the drugs I took. Same here. Some people did so far less and didn't live to tell about it. And I was so out there being so stupid and so reckless, and I'm still here, and I wasn't supposed to live to see 30. That's part of what was going on there. It's like, well, if I'm not going to live to see 30, then why am I being careful? Yeah, survivor's guilt. That's part of it sometimes. The people that we've lost are just, every one of them are beautiful people.
Yeah.
Do you
Got sucked
find,
into the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben.
Carol, do you find that you still have imposter syndrome?
Well, I was just talking about that today. I had a breakthrough with that, and no, I know I'm an addict. When Tommy was talking about journaling, I went and grabbed my journal, and I just thought, well, I'll just put the date in, and then he kept talking, and stuff started coming to mind, and the way I turned to religion, I knew I was trading one addiction for another, but I didn't connect with the emotion of that. When I was writing about it, I actually reconnected with the emotion in remembering that people would always comment like how hungry for God I was and all this stuff, and I really was, I had a big old God-sized hole that I was trying to fill, and I needed help. I needed stability, and I just felt like if God can't do it for me, then I'm pretty well sunk. But
Well,
I just refused to believe that God couldn't do that for me, bring me stability.
well, and I caught part of that before they decided to fix my internet. Like my brother's cars, they work great until he fixes them. But was your did your imposter syndrome have anything to do with the fact that you were going to AA and then switched to religion? Was
Yeah,
that
that had a great deal to do with it. Yeah.
I
But I completely immersed myself in my religion.
well, you still kicked
Just,
alcohol.
and exactly, and Tommy talked about that earlier today, trading one addiction for a good addiction. That can be a thing, and it can be a good thing. And at the time it was a good thing. I just allowed all of my mental focus to be about that. And it kept me sober. I don't know that I would have been able to stay sober any other way. I really don't think I could have. I could be wrong, but before I started that, when I was in AA, I was so scared that, just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and I'd be back in it again, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. That's why I haven't been in the water since I got sober, because I'm like actually terrified that I'm going to make a bad call out there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Archie's mom
I
sober.
can relate with that the first time getting clean. And I remember avoiding bars. And the first time I went to a bar for the first time, a pub, I drank. You know, it was the hard drugs that I was clean for 15 years, but alcohol is legal, pot's legal. I used those.
Yeah.
But the first time that I went to a bar, when I got clean the first time, I drank. So this time around, I knew that it was a muscle I needed to work. I was playing my avoidance game, which I can do very well, by the way. Very, very well.
And that's
but
valid.
I knew that the avoidance wasn't going to work, especially when it came to alcohol, especially when it comes to pot. If it's legal, I can't avoid.
Yeah.
That's the shitty part about me. Is if I'm going to be around it, and I can't help but be around it because society says it's okay, then I need to work that muscle.
Right on. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Janet G. Archie's mom, sober guilt is something I've really struggled with. I think the hardest thing. Remember, guilt if for something we did, not who we are. Guilt is for something we did, not who we are. Forgiving yourself is important. 100%. 100%.
And for me, that's I don't know about anybody else, but the hardest part for me is realizing that it's for what we did. It's not who we are.
Yeah.
And maybe not just in the addictions mindset, that I'm getting a little bit better at, but just in general, mistakes in life.
Yeah.
You know, it's realizing that's not who I am. Maybe that's old me. Maybe that was old me. I don't know, because new me doesn't think that anymore.
Right.
I would never do some of the things that I did when I was under the influence. I can't even imagine,
Same.
I can't even imagine doing some of the things that I did sober.
Right.
Yeah. I remember trying to dumpster dive when I was in my first month sober, and it just wasn't the same. I'm like, this was so much better when I was high or when I was drunk.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't do it.
Yeah, living in my car was tolerable when I was high.
Yeah.
You know, I actually had fun the first few years, and then the last few years I felt trapped.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out. I wanted out so bad, but I couldn't get out, but I was so addicted. I couldn't imagine not living that lifestyle anymore.
Sure.
I couldn't actually function to do the things I needed to do to get myself out of it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, it was a subculture that I couldn't get out of, or I couldn't figure out how to be within that and still feel okay with myself.
Right.
And how do I bring this down to a level that I'm okay with? Because I enjoy the subculture, don't get me wrong, but not at the level I was, not with some of the things that I was doing just to please somebody else. No. And it's easier to please somebody else and not think about what you want and what you need when you're using.
This is profound. Archie's mom, I'm such a different person now. I'm clean. I'm so unclean and think I'm quite a good person. Don't know why I hated myself so much growing up. Right?
I really love that.
Yes. We're just trying to get through life, Black Cad says. And I wish everyone peace in this life. Thank you. You as well. The Relate-A-Boat. Woohoo!
Hey! Guess that's the other tab. Yep. Hi, Relate-A-Boat.
Lived that for 30 years.
Yeah.
Crystal. Hey, Crystal. Good to see you. Thank you all for talking about this. I'm having troubles, struggling with wanting to go to my drug of choice, not completely to go to the computer, but doing the act to feel better about myself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do to help, Crystal?
Yeah, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
I felt that same way before, Crystal.
Yeah.
And it's not real. It's temporary. You know, we were talking
That's
about
right.
that earlier. When the drugs wear off, or whatever the drug of choice is, whether it's, you know, gambling or shopping or, you know, whatever it is, it's not real. It's not real. So getting to the root, like for me, we were talking about journaling earlier. Tommy was talking about journaling earlier today. Journaling for me has been a critical part of my recovery because I can identify themes, things that are really challenging for me, or things that are going well, but more often I'm identifying things that are not going well and then making a list, highlighting things that are recurring and making a list and taking that to my therapist.
Okay.
And those are probably two of the most, in addition to meditation, I would say those three things, my journal, my therapist, and meditation, are like the three things that for me have made the biggest impact on my recovery.
Crystal,
And
get through 10 minutes without doing your drug of choice. And get a timer if you need to, and see what else you can focus on, like maybe something with the move or something with the kitty cats.
Or if you're able to get your crochet in your hands.
Crocheting.
Then get another 10 minutes under your belt. Yeah, one's for Crystal for sure.
We can play tag team, Crystal, if you want to come up and hang out on camera. If you know you're not going to use your drug of choice on camera, I gotta meet with somebody in 2 minutes, but I know you're welcome here.
Yes, you are.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And something I just kind of want to go along with what Tara had said there. Tommy's live earlier, it hit me. I don't know if it's ever, or maybe this time around journaling, I haven't ever been able to find something good to journal about until recently, like Friday of recently, like very, very recently. And I've had to like purposely have a gratitude journal so that I could put the positive things somewhere else, not stuck in all of the negative shit, excuse me, all the negative stuff, so that I could turn to it when I'm having a bad day, I'm having a bad time, and say, but look, these are accomplishments. This is what you've done, because I feel that there's been so far and few between that if I put it in the midst of everything else, it would get lost.
And with the whole neuroscience thing, and even successful people, a lot, in fact, I think it's the vast majority of what we would consider successful people, journal. And it's very important to do. And Tommy goes into it. He talks about more from the angle of helping you process stuff. But I mean, that's what it's there for. Create a historical record so you can see what was going on, and just kind of clear the crap out. And I found when I was journaling, I was tending to get real dark, and I mean real dark. And I had to ask myself, where's this coming from? And I realized what this sewage I'm pumping out on this page is about me not feeling heard right now. So I was complaining to friends, but they were completely ignoring me at that point. And I realized that helps me work through that I realize that is what's causing this pent up aggression and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not always about using. It's about helping you process things and deal with things.
Yeah.
I see. Well, Crystal, let us know what I can hear what you're saying. I know you can come on screen anytime. But if we can do anything at all, we're all sending lots of positive vibes, lots of prayers, good thoughts, love your way to you, and hang in there, please.
Box breathing if you can. It helps me so very, very much.
If you can think of anything we can do, let us know, Crystal.
Yeah.
It's going to be a stressful time, but you can get through it. You can get through it.
It just doesn't feel very good in it, and I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah.
And Crystal, I know it's easy to feel alone. I know it's really, really easy to feel alone.
Yeah, but you're not.
There's all of us here, and please don't forget that waiting game that you're playing. I'm playing a very similar one.
Yeah.
You're not alone. I can relate.
You're not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sending love and prayers for you, Crystal, Archie's mom. Mayonnaise Entertainment. Thank you, Crystal, for speaking up. I think you are so courageous. More than me. I don't know about that, Mayonnaise. You've been pretty courageous sharing on here too.
Oh, yes.
Don't sell yourself short there.
Yeah. That's something that I recognize more now that I've made it a little bit further through my process, and exactly what Mayonnaise is doing. I know I was doing it before, and I'm wondering, is this an addict thing?
Right.
Is this because we feel like we don't deserve, because we're putting us down in so many possible manners and in so many possible ways? We need to make ourselves smaller.
Yeah. I know there was an element of that in my using.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a bit.
And like for me, my situation was so very, very big that if I was smaller, maybe it would be better and maybe it would be easier to deal with. But in reality, I needed to be bigger than it.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But it's very interesting. I'm loving these lives that Tommy's doing, because it's got my head just thinking, just going crazy, thinking, not going crazy, but it's opening up doorways that I didn't think about opening up. And it's not always exactly the question or the thing that he's talking about, if it's something related to my own situation, to my own life, that I'm like, oh, wait a second,
Mm-hmm. Hi, everyone. Not an ad. This is literally what my channel is for. 1 to 3 minutes, distractions and laughs. Please tell all. It would make me proud to help people. Right on. Rick, email me the link to your channel. Send it to needingameetingrecovery@gmail.com. Please.
Yes.
And I'll, anytime you want to mention it, I will put it up. Let's see here. I'll get.
Is it under? Oh yeah. Well, he's going to email it to you, and then you can send on.
Well, if you have another idea, yeah, I'm open.
No, I was just thinking. I was just going to ask, what's the name of the channel? Is it Rick Spicer? But he's gonna. There's no point. You're gonna take care of that.
I mean, yeah. Tell us the name of it. Yeah, the @ symbol and what would follow the @ symbol.
Mm-hmm.
It has been a great meeting tonight, Archie's mom. Yeah, thank you.
I don't know which one of you posted it in the Needing a Meeting Facebook group, but I absolutely loved the fainting goats. That was an awesome video. That is what the internet was made for.
I worry about those little guys, those little fainting goats. I do. I don't think I could handle fainting goats. All right, Black Cat, you have a good one. Thanks.
Yes, have a good night,
for
Black Cat.
being here. Crystal, today has been a better day. Good. Because I was able to do some packing for the move, and even was able to do some building that I needed to do. That feels good.
Mm-hmm.
Accomplishing something is great. Just wanted to let you know I'm Nikki. Nikki, it's really good to meet you. Thank you for that. Janet G. Goats are just about the cutest thing ever. Mountain goats, too. I've seen baby mountain goats in the wild. Oh, little babies. Did you see the huge fainting lizards?
What?
I think I have seen that. I think I have seen those. You see the fainting huge lizards. They fall out of the trees when they hear something.
I have not, and now I'm going to go look for it after. I feel like that's needed in life. Oh my goodness.
Well, I still like Chris and Melinda's channel where she was talking about, I think it was chocolate and neuroscience, or chocolate and something like that, neuroscience or something close to it. And it actually turned into chocolate and then postulating on whether or not you could get squirrels to synchronize swim. And things like that are actually they're kind of productive in that they can back to you from whatever battle you're facing on a consensus if they could be nice swim. But yeah. So,
Well, I'm so glad you feel that way, Archie's mom. Feel like the first name is appropriate for a group that helps me so much. Will you help us too? So yeah, thank you for that. The lizards also fall out of the trees when the weather is too cold. They can't hold on to the branches anymore. Okay. All righty. So, and here is Rick's channel.
Other screen.
Watching to hear your two epiphanies. What was the second? Well, now that one, I'm not quite ready to go there, if that's all right.
Need to process a little bit more.
Yeah.
I found the link, Carol. Are you okay if I drop it in chat?
100%. Yes, please. Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? I feel like we've had a meeting.
no.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I feel like I needed it. I feel like I hadn't seen you guys in too long.
It
Don't
does
get me
feel
wrong,
like
I enjoyed my time away. I really, really did. It was wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like it has been a long time, but I'm glad you had your time away too.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling grateful and lucky. That's the best way I can put it, is lucky.
The lizards are in some different place, like the undiscovered rainforest. Off topic, Janet G, but we got a horse today. Our first, his name is Dixon. He's my daughter's. I love that. Oh, I thought I was putting your comment up there. Crystal and my road trip. I'm glad you brought that up because I may not be having a meeting tomorrow unless you guys want to have one. You backdoor admin people. I'm hoping to be on the road, headed toward Mississippi to get that thing taken care of with my mama's headstone. And I've got to get that taken care of.
Something take it off your mind.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody needs anything, please message on the Facebook group. I'll keep an eye there all day tomorrow, so that if we do have somebody or a group of people needing something, I can make sure that I get everything up and going and running for 4:40 my time. So that would be Eastern.
Are you going to have Wee Man at that time though?
I won't have him just yet. So what I would do is I would get it started, and then I would jump off while I get him, and I can come back and finish it up after I get him back over here. So
Okay.
I'll keep an eye. It'll be like it'll be a last resort kind of thing, but if somebody needs something, I find that important, you know. We all have our struggles, and the community helps us more than I realized 8 months ago.
Yeah. Janet G, that helps my heart. Carol, getting my dad's stone was very meaningful. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I put on Mom's headstone was fully lived, forever loved.
I love that.
Because she really did.
Oh my goodness.
She fully lived. She came through some hard stuff, and she still managed to do that. She's quite an inspiration. Wish y'all could have known her.
We get to know her through the stories you tell us. It's wonderful.
Right on. Yeah. Meeting has been great. Thanks. Peace out.
When you say peace out at the end of the stream, I'm like, bye. Can't see me, but bye.
when they're doing roll call on the lifeboat, if I hear my name, I always wave at the screen. It's like, oh wait.
Oh goodness. And there we go. Okay. Good. The and just came out, and then I was looking at the chat. Sorry, trying to catch up. It was not meant to be like I have something to say at all. My brain is still pretty. You know what? I feel refreshed. I feel wonderful. I'm still a little bit tired.
But you have to cross time zones?
No, I don't have to cross time zones at all. Not going to that part of Ontario. Okay. I wouldn't even say that the time there was tiring, but there's always a lot to process when I come back, because I rarely get to see them. And when we do get to see each other, different level of connection every time. And it's just like, okay, am I okay with this? Where is this going? And then I just kind of have to remind myself, whatever, just take it one day at a time. Stop analyzing the crap out of shit. Just enjoy it for what it is.
That's not, your brain is telling you that's not your style, but it can be.
Well, yeah, it's a muscle I'm going to work. That neural pathway is going to get thicker eventually.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. I love it. Well, you guys, it's been a great meeting.
Yes, it has.
It really has. I feel helped. I hope you guys do too. Crystal, if you need to reach out to me, please do. You know how to get hold of me.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I'll reach out to you.
There you go. All right. I will say good night. Thank you all for the meeting. It was wonderful. And I missed you guys so much. Thank you. Good night. Love y'all.
Love you too.
Well, I just have to ask if Steve was successful in getting the grass mowed or keeping the
Yeah. That jalopy mower, that's a whole thing. I'll tell that story sometime. Today's not that time. You too, Ben. You too. Bye. You guys, awesome. You guys are just amazing to me. Thank you so much for bringing your sweet selves and your beautifulnesses to this every time. And you make this a great community. And I appreciate each and every one of you. And I love you. And I hope to see you again soon. Next meeting, which may not be until Monday, maybe even Tuesday, depending on how long my testing has to be Monday at the psychiatrist. And until then, peace, y'all.